All right, my friends, we're looking at that 2.4 lesson practice now. So here's our summary. Two variable linear equations can be written in different forms. Sometimes the different forms of an equation can reveal information that's useful for solving problems. Depending on what information that we're looking for, we might choose to use one form over the other, like we did with the seating and the standing of the train. Here's an example of two equivalent equations that represent the number of seats and handholds possible in a subway car that has 300 square feet. They are each written in a different form, and they each reveal different information about the situation. But in both of the forms, T is the standing capacity and T is the seating capacity and D is the standing. So for the first one, we have 4t plus 2d equals 300. So T is seating. So each seat takes up 4 feet, 4 square feet of floor space. And then D is standing. So each person standing requires 2 square feet of floor space. The total amount of floor space is 300. So we have that number 300 that it's equal to. The second equation says D equals 150 minus 2t. So D is the standing capacity. So if if there's no seats, if T equals 0, 150 people can stand. And then for every seat that's added, 2 people have to come out that are standing in the car. Beautiful. So let's take a look at some problems together. Here's the first slide, slide 2, which has problems 1 and 2. Adriana spent $24 on fruit punch and on apple juice. Fruit punch is $3 per bottle and apple juice is $2 per bottle. So if we think of this as an equation, let's say that X is fruit punch and we'll say Y is apple juice. So 3x is how much total it is for fruit punch, plus 2y is how much it is for the apple juice, and we know that that equals a total of $24. So how many bottles of fruit punch could Adriana buy if she got no apple juice? So if this was 0, then we have $24 and they're $3 each. Well, 24 divided by 3 would get 8. So you could get 8 bottles of fruit punch. 8 times 3 is 24. How many bottles of apple juice could we get? Oops. So that would mean that our fruit punch was 0. So just our apple juice of 2y equals 24. So if we take 24 and divide it by 2, we get 12. So if all that she's buying is apple juice, we can get 12 apple juice. When you're all set, hit submit and push to the next slide. Adriana spent $24 on fruit punch, the same problem. Fruit punch is $3, apple juice is $2, and we have this equation that we made in the last slide, only we use F and A here. F is fruit punch, A is apple juice. Use the equation to help you complete the table. So for the first one, it is saying that F fruit punch equals 2. So we have 3 times 2 plus 2a equals 24. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 2a equals 24. We're solving for A. We're trying to figure out how much apple juice we can have. So let's subtract the amount of money that we spent on fruit punch. So then we get 2a equals 18 and divide by 2. And we would get 18 divided by 2 is 9. So if we're buying 2 fruit punches, we can get 9 apple juice. If we're buying 6 fruit punch, if F equals 6, we would have 3 times 6 plus 2a equals 24. 3 times 6 is 18, so they spent $18 on fruit punch. Let's subtract 18 to see how much money is left for the apple juice. 2 times a equals 6, right? 6, yeah. And then divide by 2, which means we can get 3 apple juice, which makes sense. We got more fruit punch than last time, so it's going to be less apple juice. Beautiful. Push ahead to the next slide when you're ready. Same situation. Adriana wrote the equation here, which represents the same relationship. So it wants us to solve for a, because all of these have a equal, a equal, a equal, a equal. So we see where a is here, and we're going to solve for a. To do that, we want to get rid of this 3f term first, so we're going to subtract 3f on both sides. Just moving it to the other side. 3f minus 3f is 0. So we have 2a equals 24 minus 3f. And then we want to get a alone, so we're going to divide everything by 2. 2 divided by 2 is just 1, so we have 1a, or apple juice. 24 divided by 2 is 12, minus 3 halves f. 12 minus 3 halves f. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful. Push ahead to slide 5 when you're ready. Here's an equation, 2x plus 4y equals 80. And we have the x values and we're trying to figure out y. So for the first one, it tells us x equals 6. So we have 2 times x, which is 6, plus 4y equals 80. 2 times 6 is 12, plus 4y equals 80. Subtract 12 on both sides. Whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other. And then we get 4y equals 80 minus 12 is 68. And then we'll divide both sides by 4. 68 divided by 4 is 17. So we get y equals 17. So when x is 6, y is 17. The next question is wondering when x is 12. So we have 2 times 12 plus 4y equals 80. 2 times 12 is 24. Subtract 24 on both sides. And we get 4y equals 80 minus 24 is, oh, not times 24, minus 56. Divide both sides by 4. 56 divided by 4 is 14. So if x is 12, y is 14. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, on slide 6, I want you to try this one on your own. So it says, here's an equation, 2x plus 4y equals 80, and you're solving it for y. So how would you maneuver this equation to solve for y? Try this one out at your own, and when you're all set, so you can pause the video right now, and then when you're all set, push ahead to slide 7. Nia is buying bananas and apples for her family. Bananas are 50 cents each, and apples are $1. She only has $3.50. She cannot spend more. So what are all the combinations of bananas and apples that Nia could buy for exactly $3.50? So we're going to need our calculator. So bananas are 50 cents. So we have 0.50b plus apples are $1, 1A. And we want that to equal 350. So for the first one, if bananas is 1, it'd be 0.50 times 1 plus 3 apples, 3 times 1. That does get us 350 exactly, so that one works. For the next one, we have 5 bananas, 0.50 times 5 plus 1 apple, so 1 times 1. That's also 350. Beautiful. Next one is 1 banana, so 0.50 times 1 plus 2 apples is 1 times 2. That's 250, so that's not correct for this problem. 3 bananas, 0.50 times 3 plus 2 apples is also 350. Incredible. And the last one is 5 bananas plus 2 apples. Too much. So we have 3 options here that get us exactly $3.50. Let's look at the slide 8 when you're ready. Nia is buying the bananas and apples. So we have this equation that we also made up or created on the last slide of 0.5b plus 1a equals 350. And it wants us to solve the equation for a. So I know this is decimals, but don't worry, it's the same process. If we want to get a alone, we got to get rid of this b term. It's positive, so we get rid of it by subtracting the whole term to the other side. And then we get 1a, or a equals 350 minus 0.5b. And that's it. At that point, it is solved for. Yeah, good. So we don't have to do any dividing because it was just 1a. So we are all set. We're ready to go. Let's look at slide 9 is a spiral review. So I'll do the first one with you. So we have 8 minus 12 minus 6 plus 4 in parentheses. When you're doing the order of operations, you always want to do your parentheses first. So 8 minus 12 stays, minus 6 plus 4 in parentheses is 10. Then exponents, no exponents here. Multiplication or division, none. So now we do addition and subtraction and we move left to right. So first we want to do 8 minus 12, which is negative 4. Negative 4 minus 10 is negative 14. So this is what we have for our first equation. So it's wondering which of these options also gives us negative 14. There are 2 options. So I want you to try and work through this and find those 2 options that also give us negative 14. Problem 10 says which equation is equivalent to this fraction. So we talked about this in one of the recent lesson videos, which is sometimes when we have fraction, oh no, we did a decimal problem and we can multiply it by 10 to get rid of the decimal, or by 100. And we can do a similar thing with fractions. Here we have this 3 and this 2 that are in the denominator. So we can multiply everything by 6. When we do that, we will get rid of the 3 and the 2 denominator. So 6 times a third is 6 thirds times m, plus 6 times a half is 6 halves times n, equals 6 times 9 is 54. 6 thirds, or 6 divided by 3, is just 2m. 6 halves, 6 divided by 2 is 3n, which makes it nice and easy. So we have 2m plus 3n equals 54. So multiplying by a common multiple is going to make that nice and easy and cancel out those fractions, because 3 goes into 6 and 2 goes into 6. So that was a good option for us. I want you to try 11 and 12 on your own. Try your best. And then 13 is the reflection slide telling us how we did. And make sure to submit this into Schoology when you are finished. Nice job, friends.